Marcus made $4,200 a month. Not bad, right? But every single year, on the same day, he'd open his banking app and just stare. Zero balance. Another debt. Another promise to himself that next month would be different. Next month was never different. If that story sounds familiar, this video is for you. Because Marcus's problem wasn't his paycheck. It was 7 habits that were quietly draining his account every single month, and he had no idea. Stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you're going to recognize these habits in your own life and know exactly how to stop them. Marcus never thought of himself as someone who wasted money. No yachts. No business class flights. He just lived. Food delivery here, a subscription there, it's 40% off, that's basically saving money over there. Every single purchase felt small in the moment. But when he finally sat down and added it all up, he was spending $340 more than he earned every single month. Not thousands. $340. Less than $11 a day. Here's what that looked like after 1 year. $4,080 in debt. Silently. Invisibly. Like a slow gas leak in a house, you can't smell it until it's already too late. The most dangerous part? His credit card made everything feel fine. Minimum payment. Account looks normal, nothing to worry about. But the interest kept building. And the next month got a little harder. And then a little harder after that. What to do instead? Sit down just once and honestly write out where your money actually went last month. Don't plan. Don't judge. Just look at the facts. Most people who do this for the first time go completely quiet for a few minutes. Because the numbers are a shock. Meet Linda. Linda was a smart woman. Middle manager. 2 kids, steady job. She never really did budgets. She just paid her bills and hoped something would be left before the next payday. One Tuesday, her card got declined at the grocery store. In front of her kids. In front of the whole line. It turned out 3 forgotten subscriptions had charged her on the exact same day as her insurance payment. She knew about each one individually. But no one had ever added them up together. That's the real danger of skipping financial planning. It's not that you spend too much. It's that you lose visibility. The money exists, but you have no idea where it is or how much is actually yours. Memory is a terrible accountant. We forget payment dates. We underestimate small expenses. We think we roughly understand what's happening, and then we're standing at a grocery store with a declined card. The fix is simpler than you think. 1 piece of paper or 1 spreadsheet with 3 columns. What comes in, what goes out, what's left. Check it once a week. It takes 7 minutes. And it changes everything. In March, David's car broke down. He drove for a living. The car wasn't a luxury, it was how he paid his rent. The repair cost $900. He didn't have $900. So he took out a loan at 24% interest to fix the car so he could keep earning money so he could pay back the loan. Read that sentence again. He borrowed money to be able to earn money to give back the money. That is the trap. And it all starts with one simple missing thing. A buffer between you and reality. Without emergency savings, any surprise, a broken appliance, a medical bill, a delayed paycheck, instantly becomes a crisis. And crises are expensive. Always more expensive than if you'd been ready. The rule is simple. Set aside enough to cover your basic expenses for 3 months. Not for vacation. Not for new gear. Only for emergencies. Even if you start with $20 a week, Start. Because the next surprise is already on its way. The only question is whether you'll meet it with cash or with a new debt. When Sarah got her promotion, she celebrated. New phone. Better apartment. Restaurants instead of cooking at home. She deserved it. She was genuinely earning more. 1 year later, she was making $800 more per month. And saving exactly the same as before her raise. 0. This is called lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the quietest financial traps that exists. Every time income goes up, spending goes up right alongside it. Automatically. Naturally. Without you even noticing. A raise feels like freedom. But if you don't make a conscious decision about where those extra dollars go, they'll find somewhere to go on their own. And that somewhere is usually a bigger apartment, more expensive food, and another subscription you didn't need. The rule that changes everything: when your income grows, increase your savings first, not your spending. Even if it's just 50% of the raise. Spend the rest however you want. But future you comes first. Jason had 4 credit cards. He didn't think of himself as someone in debt. He was just managing cash flow. Moving balances from one card to another. Taking new loans to pay off old ones. Always paying on time because he always made the minimum payment. One day he sat down and calculated how much he paid in interest over the past 3 years. $11,400. Not the principal. Just the interest. In 3 years he had handed banks $11,400 and his actual debt had barely moved. Here's what the minimum payment actually does. It keeps you inside the system. You're technically not late. But you never get out. Because the interest eats the majority of every payment, and new purchases keep the balance alive. There's only one way out: pay more than the minimum. Even an extra $50 a month cuts years off your payoff timeline. Start with a card charging you the highest interest rate. Pay it off. Then move to the next one. It's not fast. But it works. It's only $12 a month. That's what Megan would have said about her streaming subscription. And she would have been right, if that had been the only one. But there was also a music service. And cloud storage. And a fitness app she hadn't opened since February. And the premium version of a notes app. And 3 more subscriptions she only remembered when the statement arrived at the end of the month. Together, $147 a month. $1,764 a year. On things she either never used or had completely forgotten she was paying for. Small expenses are dangerous precisely because they feel insignificant. Your brain dismisses them as not serious. But they accumulate quietly, month after month, and the total becomes very real money. Do one thing today. Open your bank statement and find every subscription. Cancel the ones you don't actively use. It takes 20 minutes. And it puts hundreds of dollars back in your pocket every year. I'll start saving when I have more money. Thomas said that at 24. Then again at 28. Then at 33. Money would arrive, and each time there was a new reason to wait. First the student loan. Then the wedding. Then the kids. Then the renovation. Always something more urgent. Always a reason why right now wasn't quite the right moment. At 40, he finally sat down and calculated what he would have had if he'd started putting away $200 a month at age 24. At an average 7% annual return, by retirement that would have been over $525,000. He had saved nothing. Time is the only asset you cannot get back. Every year you wait doesn't just cost you the savings you missed. It costs you the compound interest you could have earned but didn't. And no salary later in life fully makes up for that difference. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is today. Marcus, Linder, David, Sarah, Jason, Megan, Thomas. 7 different people. Different cities, different salaries, different lives. But one thing in common, habits that kept them standing still while time moved forward. None of these habits looked like a disaster from the inside. Every single one felt normal, reasonable, even necessary. That's exactly what makes them so dangerous. But here's the good news, none of them are permanent. Every single one is a decision. And decisions can be changed. Not tomorrow. Not on January 1st. Today. Pick one habit from this video. Just one. Take one step. Write down your expenses. Cancel one subscription. Save your first $50. Just one step. If this video hit home, like it and subscribe. Next week we're breaking down the specific tools and strategies that turn these small steps into real, lasting results. Your future self is already counting on the decision you make today.
Thank you for watching. Goodbye.